it is a bit difficult for an expat to make a decision whether he or she should buy a car or lease a car in a country like Germany. So in this video, I will explain you how the car leasing works in Germany, pros and cons of car leasing in Germany, leasing versus financing, and does it really make a sense to lease a car in Germany, and some FAQs. Let's understand how car leasing works in Germany. So car leasing in Germany is like long-term car rental. When leasing, you sign a lease contract and also pay a non-refundable deposit or a down payment. After signing the contract, you will be responsible for repairing and maintaining the car. A typical car leasing contract in Germany is of 1 year and maximum of 36 months, which sums to 3 years. After lease is finished, when you are returning the car, if there are some damages on the car, customer have to pay the extra amount on the damages. Whereas if the car is driven more than the agreed kilometers, you also have to pay for the extra kilometers. Often the lease companies decide the kilometers per year you are able to drive according to the lease contract, which could be around 10 to 12,000 kilometers per year. So in my opinion, on the 4 factors the leasing rates are defined: car's age, car's model, its performance, mileage, and possible services. So let's say if I generalize, irrespective of the vehicle you choose, on an average in Germany, leasing could be around 200 euros a month. So now let's understand pros and cons of the car leasing in Germany. So let's go through pros. Convenience. Leasing a car is convenient in a sense that you are in a position to define the duration and the cost of the leasing upfront of signing the contract. Affordability. Leasing the car is cheaper than financing. As you avoid large down payment, your monthly payments are also low, and in some contracts there are insurances are also covered. If you are lucky, you can also get the tire changing included in your leasing contract. So for that you don't have to pay the extra amount. Next one is the flexibility. This benefit is obvious. If you are a fan of driving every newer and nicer car every now and then, so then you can lease a car every year and change by signing the new leasing contracts. And the last pro is like leveraging. You can drive a new car without a large investment. Furthermore, car leasing is beneficial for the freelancers and self-employed persons, as the monthly leasing expenses can be deducted as business expenses. So those were the pros. Now let's go through the cons of leasing a car. The terms of leasing are very strict in Germany. As an expat, there might be some mentioned clause which are unable to understand because of the language barrier. Most of the contracts in Germany are in German language. So if you are not familiar with the German language, so it can be difficult to understand the lease contract thoroughly. So the first biggest con is ownership. The biggest issue with leasing is that you rent a car, you don't own the car until you bought after the leasing contract. Next one is servicing. So when you lease a car, if you lease a premium segment car like BMW or Mercedes, so they have particular showroom contracts. Only there you can service the vehicle. You are not allowed to do the servicing or maintenance at any other service stations. So in these service stations, the service charges can be expensive. And the next one is the limited mileage. So like I mentioned, so in the leasing contract, it's often mentioned 10,000 to 12,000 kilometers per year. So if you drive the leased car more than these kilometers, by the end of leasing contract, you have to pay for the extra kilometers you have driven during your leasing period. So now let's do the comparison between financing and leasing. So the first one is ownership. In leasing, it's like renting an apartment. So after lease is finished, you have to return the car and then it's done. Whereas in financing, from the day one, the car is yours. You got the ownership of the car. Next point is the down payment. In the lease, it includes first month's payment plus security deposit, which is refundable, registration fees and possible other charges. Whereas in financing, the down payment will add up to the loan amount. Next one is the taxes. In leasing, you don't pay the taxes at the time of signing the contract. Whereas in financing, you have to pay the 19% of tax on the net amount of the vehicle cost. Next one is the monthly payments. In leasing, your monthly payments are much lesser than the financing. In the financing, the loan payments are 2 to 3 times higher than the monthly leasing amount. Early termination. So in the leasing, if you want to break the lease contract in between, then you have to pay some heavy charges. So that is a drawback. Whereas in financing, it's your car from the day one. To whoever you want to sell, you can sell it. Next one is the wear and tear. The use of the car you have done too much, so then in that case you have to pay some hefty amounts by the end of the leasing contract. Whereas in financing, it doesn't matter how much you want to use, you can use it, and you can decide considering the TÜV norms when you want to repair the car and how you want to use the car. And the last, the distance restriction. So in the leasing, like I said, there are kilometer limitations, whereas if you have financed your car, there is no kilometer limitation. Is leasing a car in Germany a good idea? So in my opinion, if you are self-employed business owner or freelancer, then yes, because the monthly lease payments you can show as business expenses. So the next one is someone is coming to Germany for a short term, let's say for 1 to 3 years. So in that case, it will be for him or her a good option of leasing a car in Germany, as there is no heavy down payments, plus the monthly lease installments are cheaper comparatively the financing. And someone who likes to drive every now and then a new car. Through leasing, every year you are able to enjoy new and nicer car to drive. So now the last portion of the video, the FAQs. Can foreigners lease a car in Germany? Yes, foreigners can lease a car in Germany. To lease a car in Germany, you need a valid passport, a valid driving license. You also need bank statements, proof of employment and stable income, and physical address as well. So the required checklist of the documents I have mentioned in the description box below. You can check over there. Is leasing a car in Germany is a waste of money? So the major drawback in my opinion is that you don't own a car. So if you are planning to use a car for the period of 1 to 3 years, leasing a car is logical. But if you are planning to use the same car for the period of more than 5 years, financing a car is in the long term beneficial. So if you have any further questions on buying or leasing a car in Germany, you can ask me in the comment box below. Thank you for watching the video till the end. See you until next time. Bye bye.